Hi, my name's Louise Clark, and today I wanted to cover safety. I've written it down to remind myself of what I've got to do. Drugs and safety while sleeping, and whether you're using drugs or not, that's not the issue because I'll get into it. But first, I wanted to address like safety while sleeping, because so often now the locks on doors have got little barrels that turn, and therefore you lock them, but someone else, if they've got a key, can get in. That doesn't mean you're safe, does it? That means someone can get in while you're sleeping. And also in these times we've got people drugging up, spiking drinks, we've got people taking drugs. So you might be out of your head, and if people can get in your home while you're asleep or where you're sleeping, that's not safety, is it? So what happened is I came across this because in my house there was locks that had like the chub lock that worked, but the landlord said because of some law they had to put on these barrel locks where you couldn't lock. You can lock it, but as soon as someone's got a key, which supposedly they haven't, but it's shown that they have because they were coming in while I was out, and also I got evidence after of them trying to get in while I was asleep. So that made me look at ways to prevent this from happening. And one of my friends, I put it online the issue, and one of my friends who sort of understands these things said, oh, you can get portable locks. So I went on a trail of buying the different portable locks, and I've tried them all out. So the best one I like is this one, and basically I could show you, but my videos and all that so messed with that I can't do editing and all this, so you're just gonna have to do it straight. So you put this in the hole that's in the door frame, and then you put this quite simply in the next hole next to it. Drop it down, in it goes, drop it down, and no one will be able to undo that door, I'm telling you now. So they've tried, I've heard them trying, they cannot undo this. So you've got this one, which I think is the best. Then you've got this small one, because it may not be that you've lock's not good on your door, it may be that it's your bedroom door in the house, and therefore you've got these little ones also that work in bedroom doors, and that little bit hooks into the hole again, and then you do this and have it tightened on the other side of the door till it tightens up to how tight it needs to be for it to not be opened. You might want to use them in a bathroom, you might, Airbnb. They're very good for hotels because hotels have got them type of locks. That's where the law, I think, when I looked at the law, it doesn't seem, it's like short term. Well, this is not short term, this house, but whatever. I've got the locks now. So there's that one, and then there's also this one, because there's different variations of lock fittings, isn't there? So this one's got two on. But I found it quite, for my door frame, I found it quite hard to sort of undo this bit. So I purchased a few of the first one to sell online for those who want to buy them. Because the other thing is I've noticed is that they're only seem to be available online, and I'd like that to really change, because it was like a few days ago for Christmas I gave one of my friends one for Christmas, and she was like, oh, this is the best present I've ever had. And I don't think she was even lying. I think she was really pleased. And she said, oh, I saw a girl on TikTok showing, and she was saying she don't go to any hotels without them. And I was like, well, why didn't you buy one? And I wasn't really judging, I was just aware, no, if they're only available online, then people won't think to buy them necessarily unless they're in their face. So that's why I'll sell them on my website, but you can buy them on eBay, you can buy them on Amazon. I'd like it that you can buy them in shops like Poundland, so that they're easier, more accessible. I'd like it that the police gave them away free to like women suffering from domestic violence and so forth, and also Women's Aid and all those services that are there to help people with safety. We've got Safer Sussex here, and they do give away alarms and that, but they don't, they could give away these locks, and then the women would be a much more safer. Now, therefore, it's like the first level of needing these locks is for your own safety, where you need to be able to lock your door and sleep safely, if you're in, like as I've said, all in the list. But Also, we've got drugs in these times where we may take drugs and then sort of pass out or whatever. If someone's got access, you won't even know that they've come in. And nowadays, this is getting quite a big thing, and more than I think people realise is like people are getting spiked, drugged, and then abused while they're asleep and they're unaware of it. There's also, I'm told, a spray on the dark web which is being used for burglaries, where they just spray it, and as long as they've got the key to get in the house, they spray the spray and you're asleep, and then you won't know what's happened because you're asleep. So we have to change with the times, because I'm realising, like, for years, you know, you move flat and the last tenant hands over the keys, and it's all done on a basis of trust that no one else has got the key, no one's going to use the key. And I think trust is a sort of thing of the past that we have to sort of forget about. I've heard people here in Brighton, oh, they don't even lock their doors at night, and this is like sort of, I'm from London, so no one does that. Yeah, I don't think. But when you get out into the rural areas, that's where it's all built on trust. So it's like, no, times have changed. People need to lock their doors. It is so easy for people to get the number of the key. I won't really go into how, but it is easy for people to find your key number and then get a key cut. Or like, so it's about safety becomes first while you're sleeping, and I don't think many people are looking at it. So yes, the second stage is drugged, if you're drugged, if you're being drugged, or if they're using the spray to access you, they need them. And then the third variable that is going on is mind control, which people they are starting to wake up to it, but it is like I'm sort of pushing my neck out talking about it, but I do know quite a bit about it. And in mind control, which you know would be considered in mental health, DID, where you disassociate and you have different personalities. When it's done in a systematic way as mind control, it's done where they're very young, and they teach the child very young that the certain alters, the certain personalities, to open the door on a cue. And therefore, even if you do have all the locks and you've locked it all up on a cue while you're asleep, that alter is awake and waiting to hear that cue. So that's the third variable, but not everyone is aware of it. But the first thing you need to rule out anyway is that you can lock that door and know that when you go to sleep at night that you feel safe. Now, I was saying about drugs because really my area of speciality was working in East London with crack and cocaine users for many years, in the 90s mainly, and I suppose I was too good and I set up on my own, and I was pushed into a position where I couldn't work. So what I did was I wrote the books on how to get off crack cocaine and how to get off cocaine. So these are the books that I've written for that. This is the one on how to get off of crack, and this is the one how to get off of cocaine. And they're available on Amazon or on my website. And they're also in ebook. I was a specialist, as I said, and I used to train other professionals on how to work with that client group. And so when I did the training, I produced the books to, sorry, it's the wrong book, to how to work with women clients, which might be useful for women using, but it's written on how to work with women users, and this one's written on how to work with men users. So they're from the training that I did for how to work with those client groups. And then I might as well promote all my books. So I did, through setting up my drug service and not really accepting funding because I didn't want to give away data, I then came across the mind control aspect of the world, and I had a client who was a singer and was on crack, and they'd taken the child and had to fight to get the care order revoked, which I did, but that's when I learned about how the whole system is sort of involved. Not all of the system, but within the system there is a paedophile trafficking network. So again, them keys could be handy for children in care, couldn't they? And also this book is sort of, I wrote loads and loads of blogs that you can read online on Higher Insight Blogs Spot, I think it's called. I can't remember, it's an old one, but you can find it through my Facebook page, website. So this is all the blogs in one book, so that you wouldn't have to sort of search for them. And then I also wrote loads of poems because it was quite painful, so they're quite heavy poems because it's quite a heavy topic. And so I wrote the poem book also, Insight into Darkness, Poetic Truth. So that's just a book of my poems. But really this video was about promoting, getting people to consider having the portable door lock, and I'm showing you that they are successful. I mean, they'd be really good if they were available in Poundland, or you know, to make them accessible to people, because they're not very accessible, and they should be. I mean, really, they should sell them in bars and that, because they're not expensive, and you could just have them, you could have them in a machine or something, do you know what I mean, like condoms there, and a lock. So yes, I'm just looking at, have I covered all the topics that I wanted to do. So yeah, they'd be good. I've put in what they're good for. So it's hotels, hostels, home with where the locks are not sufficient, bedrooms, bathrooms, Airbnbs. So I hope you all have a wonderful new year, and I hope I've covered it all, and don't regret later and think, oh, why didn't I cover it? So yeah, that's me, over and out. So this is, yeah, for drug users and even non-drug users, just people having safety in their home. So I'm trying to cover everyone without saying anything too controversial, because even the locks are probably a bit of a spanner in the works. So yes, happy New Year 2025. Make it a good one. Bye bye.